The path to success is paved with the choices you make every day. Make them count by forcing yourself to be the best. Success isn't a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. Force yourself to choose greatness every day. What if you could wake up every single day and know you're giving your best? What if the effort you put in each day wasn't just enough, but it pushed you to new levels? What if you didn't let excuses or distractions stop you from becoming the best version of yourself, day after day? How would your life change if you could truly force yourself to rise above your comfort zone and show up stronger, more focused, and more determined every single day? The truth is, achieving greatness isn't about talent or luck. It's about the consistent decisions you make, the discipline you build, and the daily actions you take. This isn't about overnight success. It's about choosing to be your best day after day, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. So if you're ready to push past your limits, rise above your excuses, and become the best version of yourself every single day, then let's get started. Now let's dive in. Number 1, force yourself to show up early no matter what. If you want to start changing your life, you have to start with your habits. And one of the most powerful habits you can ever build is forcing yourself to show up early no matter what. Not when it's convenient, not when you feel like it, but every single day, you have to make that decision like your future depends on it. Because it does. When you start your day early, you take control. You start from the top, not from behind. You're no longer reacting to the world. You're creating your world. Now here's the truth about showing up early. It's hard. No one wakes up at 5 in the morning and feels like a superhero right away. You feel tired. You feel slow. You want to hit snooze, and your mind will give you every reason to stay in bed. You need more sleep. You deserve rest. 5 more minutes won't hurt. But here's the catch: that voice is not your ally. That voice is the barrier between the life you want and the life you're stuck in. You have to be stronger than your feelings. You have to train your mind to stop negotiating with weakness. Because if you only show up when it's easy, you'll never grow. You'll never lead. And you'll never experience the kind of pride that comes from knowing you beat the part of yourself that wanted to stay small. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. It's choosing what you want most over what you want now. And when you force yourself to show up early, even when you're tired, even when it's cold, even when no one else is watching, you are declaring to yourself that your future matters more than your excuses. Now think about what happens when you wake up early every day. First, you buy yourself time. Quiet time. Time when the world is still. That space that silence gives you clarity. You can think. You can plan. You can breathe. You can work without interruptions. That's the time champions use to separate from the crowd. That's when they read. That's when they train. That's when they set up their day with intention. They don't hope for a good day, they build it. Second, you start building confidence. Every time you force yourself to get up early, you prove to yourself that you have control. That confidence doesn't come from talent. It comes from discipline, from effort, from consistency. You begin to trust yourself more. You walk taller. You speak clearer. Not because someone praised you, but because you kept a promise to yourself. And that's rare. Most people break their own promises every day. They say they'll wake up early. They don't. They say they'll start tomorrow. They don't. Every broken promise chips away at their belief. But you can reverse that. You can stack those small wins. You can start with one early morning and turn it into a streak, a week, a month, a year. And suddenly you're not the same person anymore. You've built something real, something no one can take from you. You want success, you want results. Then you've got to force yourself to earn them. This isn't about motivation. Motivation comes and goes. This is about structure, about setting your alarm, about putting your phone across the room so you have to get up to turn it off, about deciding the night before that no matter how you feel in the morning, you're getting out of bed and showing up. That's the battle you fight and win before the world even wakes up. Think about it this way. The world is full of people with potential, smart people, talented people, but most of them are still asleep, while the few are working. Not because they're more gifted, but because they chose effort over ease. They chose growth over comfort. And those early hours give them an edge that compounds over time. Every day they get just a little better. And that's what separates the average from the excellent. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to wake up at 4 in the morning every single day for the rest of your life. You just need to build the muscle of discipline. You need to become someone who doesn't negotiate with weakness. Someone who leads their own life, instead of following someone else's. That starts the moment your alarm goes off. That's the test. That's your shot to either rise or roll over. And every time you rise, you grow stronger. You build the foundation for the kind of life you say you want. People ask for change, but most aren't willing to change themselves. You have to become the kind of person who lives in alignment with what they say they want. That alignment starts in the small decisions. It starts in the morning. It starts when no one is watching. That's where your future is built. In the silence. In the struggle. In the decision to rise when it's easier to rest. Start simple. Choose a time. Commit to it. Make it non-negotiable. Not just on weekdays. Every day you're not training to be average. You're training to be great. And greatness doesn't sleep in. Greatness shows up. Day after day. Early. Focused. Hungry. You've got that in you. You might not believe it right now. But it's there. You've just got to keep showing up to uncover it. The person who wins is not the one with the easiest path. It's the one who keeps showing up early. No matter what. The one who says, I don't care how I feel. I care who I'm becoming. That's real power. That's leadership. That's how you force yourself to be the best day after day. And the more you do it, the more you realize something. It's not just about waking up early. It's about building a life where you lead your own actions. Where you stop drifting and start deciding. Where you stop following your mood and start following your mission. Every early morning is a declaration that you're not here to waste time. You're here to build something meaningful. You're here to leave no potential unused. You will not rise to the top by accident. You will rise because you showed up when it was hard. You pushed when it was uncomfortable. You fought for your habits when it would have been easier to quit. And that mindset that discipline will take you places talent alone never will. You've got one job right now. Show up early. No matter what, train yourself to do it again tomorrow. And again the next day. Stack your effort. Stack your consistency. Keep showing up. And one day you'll look back and realize, that's when everything changed. That's when you stopped talking about it and started living it. Number 2, demand more from yourself than yesterday every day. The key to real growth is not doing what's comfortable, but doing what stretches you beyond where you stood yesterday. Progress isn't automatic. It's a conscious demand you place on yourself to get better every single day. Most people live on autopilot. They repeat the same actions, the same effort, and the same thinking over and over and expect life to somehow change. But if you want to change your life, you have to first raise your standards. You have to look at who you were yesterday and decide that it's not enough. You have to expect more from yourself than the world ever will. Every morning when you wake up, you are presented with a choice. You can repeat what you did yesterday, or you can reach for something more. Most people don't make that choice. They fall into the routine of survival. They go through the motions. They get by. They tell themselves they're doing okay because they're doing what they've always done. But being alive is not the same as living. You don't grow by staying the same. You grow by demanding more. You grow by raising the bar on your own performance. That means if you read for 10 minutes yesterday, you read for 15 today. If you trained your body for 30 minutes yesterday, you give it 40 today. If you gave 50% effort in your job or your craft, you push for 70 today. Not for anyone else. Not for applause. Not for validation. But because you know you were made for more and you refuse to settle for average. The real competition is not outside. It's not other people. It's you. You against your past. You against your excuses. You against the limits you placed on yourself. You have to decide every day that you will not be the same person you were 24 hours ago. You will learn more. You will act faster. You will think sharper. You will speak with more clarity. You will live with more focus. This is not a race for perfection. It's a commitment to progression. The greatest pride you will ever feel comes from knowing you outdid who you were before. That kind of growth doesn't come easy. It requires self-honesty. It demands you look at your results and ask where you held back, where you could have done better, where you let comfort win, where you let your standards drop. It's not about guilt. It's about responsibility. When you demand more from yourself every day, you stop blaming the world. You stop looking for shortcuts. You realize that the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the level you're willing to operate on. Some people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. But the people who rise don't wait. They act. They push. They move. They don't need someone to tell them to go harder, because they're already telling themselves that. They are their own coach, their own guide, their own challenger. That's the kind of discipline that transforms a person. That's the kind of mindset that builds a powerful life. Demanding more from yourself also means not making excuses. It means you stop accepting the reasons that used to keep you stuck. Too tired, too late, too early, too hard. Those are all traps, and they sound convincing. But if you fall for them, you fall short of your potential. You miss out on becoming who you were capable of being. And that's not just a loss for you. That's a loss for everyone who could have been inspired by your example. You have to decide that you are worth more than what you were yesterday, that your time is too valuable to waste, that your goals are too important to delay. You can't afford to live the same day again and again and call it a life. That's not living. That's repeating. And repetition without growth leads to regret. Every evening you should be able to look at your day and ask yourself, did I grow today? Did I stretch? Did I challenge something in myself? Did I leave anything on the table? When the answer is yes, I grew, you sleep differently. You rest with pride. You walk into the next day with more strength because you know you're building something real. Don't let yesterday's effort be the limit of your ability. Use it as a baseline and push past it. Whether it's your work, your fitness, your learning, your mindset, your focus, or your patience, always ask what's next. What's better? What's stronger? What's deeper? When you ask better questions, you get better actions. Most people never push past their first layer. They stop when it gets uncomfortable, when they get tired or bored or scared. But those who rise, those who lead, those who build something extraordinary, keep going. They push deeper. They find that extra energy. They demand more. Not once a year, not when it's convenient, but every single day. You want to be proud of your life. You want to feel fulfilled. Then you must make growth your daily goal. Not results. Growth. Not praise. Growth. You must chase effort with purpose. Chase discipline with intensity. Chase improvement with urgency. Because this life is not waiting for you to decide. Time is moving, and every day you don't grow, you fall behind. And this is not about running yourself into exhaustion. It's about being honest with what you can do, and then doing just a bit more. Stretching your capacity in small, deliberate ways. That's how champions are built. Not in massive leaps, but in relentless daily progress. Day after day, brick by brick, rick by rip, choice by choice. You want to build something extraordinary. You have to live with extraordinary intention. You have to stop thinking good. Enough is good enough. You have to raise your effort, raise your thinking, raise your presence. You have to demand more energy, more focus, more clarity, more action, more honesty, more responsibility. Most people will never do this. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They are comfortable being who they were. But not you. You are here for more. You are here to grow. You are here to stretch the limits of what you thought was possible. And you don't need anyone's permission to start. You just need to decide that yesterday was good, but today will be better. This is how you move forward. This is how you build something lasting. This is how you take ownership of your time, your potential, your mission. It's in the moments when you could take it easy and choose not to. When you could hold back and instead lean in. When you raise your voice, your pace, your standard, your life. If you're not demanding more from yourself today than you did yesterday, then you're choosing to stay still. And in a world that's always moving, standing still is the same as falling behind. But you don't have to fall behind. You have the power to rise, to lead, to grow, to become someone whose life speaks not just through words but through action, through discipline, through the daily decision to improve. And all it takes is that one commitment, that today you will not settle, that you will give a little more, that you will dig a little deeper, that you will walk out of this day knowing you did more than you thought you could, not because anyone told you to, but because you decided you will not be the same person twice. Number 3. Take full control of every choice you make today. Every single day is made of choices. From the moment you open your eyes, the decisions begin. What time you get out of bed, how you talk to yourself, what you choose to focus on, how you respond when things don't go your way. Those are all choices, and those choices shape everything. You don't control everything around you, but you always control how you respond to it. And that response becomes the direction of your life. If you want a better future, then today you need to take full control of every choice you make. No more leaving it up to chance. No more acting like things just happen. They don't just happen. You choose them. Whether you admit it or not, you choose how you show up. You choose what you give your attention to. You choose your tone. You choose your attitude. You choose whether you give in or step up. You choose whether you wait or move. And when you take ownership of that, you start to build strength that can't be taken from you. Too many people live like passengers. They let the day drag them around. They react to whatever shows up. But you're not a passenger. You're not here to drift. You're here to lead yourself. That means paying attention. That means slowing down enough to be aware of what you're choosing. You have to get clear. What are you allowing? What are you avoiding? What are you feeding your mind with? Who are you listening to? All those things, every one of them, is a choice. And every choice you make today has a cost. You either pay for progress or you pay for regret. There is no neutral. If you choose to skip the work, you pay in lost momentum. If you choose to give in to anger, you pay in broken relationships. If you choose distraction, you pay in wasted time. But if you choose growth, you gain strength. If you choose effort, you gain pride. If you choose discipline, you gain freedom. The outcomes might take time to show up, but the direction is always decided in the moment you choose. Taking control of your choices starts with slowing down and deciding what you want this day to stand for. Are you going to look back on today and feel proud, or are you going to look back and wish you had done better? That is entirely up to you. You can't blame the weather, you can't blame your boss, you can't blame your past. Because no matter what's happening around you, what happens through you is always under your control. Even the smallest decisions matter. The decision to put your phone down and focus, the decision to start the task instead of delay it again, the decision to eat something that fuels you instead of drains you, the decision to be kind even when you're frustrated. That's where power is built, in the decisions no one sees. That's where real change begins. You don't need a dramatic shift to take control. You need consistency in the little things. You need to build awareness of your patterns and interrupt the ones that don't serve you. Every time you say yes to something, you also say no to something else. So you have to choose carefully. You have to ask yourself, is this choice leading me toward the life I want, or away from it? This is how you start to lead yourself with intention. You don't just say you want change. You prove it in your actions. You show it in how you respond to resistance. You demonstrate it in how you deal with discomfort. And you practice it in how you manage your time. This is about training yourself to be the kind of person who acts on purpose, not out of habit, not out of emotion, but out of clarity. And don't let yourself fall into the trap of thinking small choices don't matter. They do, because small choices done daily turn into your life. You don't become disciplined overnight. You don't become strong in one decision. You earn it in 1,000 small moments where you could have gone easy and chose not to. That's the difference between the people who wish and the people who win. Winners don't wait for the perfect moment. They act on the present one. There will always be distractions. There will always be obstacles. You're not here to avoid them. You're here to lead through them. And you do that by making one clear decision at a time. You face the hard thing instead of ignoring it. You speak up when you want to stay silent. You stay calm when you want to explode. You finish what you start, even when your energy fades. That's what control looks like. Not perfection, but direction. It means you don't just respond, you decide how to respond. And yes, you will slip sometimes. Everyone does. But that doesn't mean you lose control. What matters is what you do next. Do you let one mistake turn into a bad day? Or do you take ownership and get back on track? When you take control, you don't let one bad moment define you. You use it as a checkpoint to learn and refocus. One of the strongest things you can do for your future is build the habit of choosing with intention. Before you say yes, ask if it aligns with your goals. Before you quit, ask if you're just uncomfortable or truly finished. Before you judge someone, ask if you've looked at the full picture. That kind of inner discipline creates strength that lasts. It creates the ability to keep moving forward when others give up. It creates a foundation you can build a great life on. You don't need more time. You need better choices with the time you have. You need to own your calendar, own your effort, own your focus, own your response. You don't need permission to do that. You already have the power. You just have to use it. Every time you act with intention, you separate yourself from the average. You build your future with each decision made today. That's what this is about. Building a life that reflects your values, not your mood. Building days that serve your mission, not just your comfort. And that happens through choice. Through waking up and deciding you will not drift today. You will not hand over your time to distractions. You will not let fear or doubt or laziness make your decisions for you. You will lead. You will act. You will choose. When you make that kind of commitment daily, you don't need to chase motivation. You create momentum, and that momentum builds pride. You start feeling different. You start thinking differently. And other people feel it too. They see someone who's focused, someone who's not easily shaken, someone who's serious about their life. And that impact spreads further than you realize. You want to change the direction of your life. Start with your next choice. Own it fully. Don't half decide. Don't leave room for excuses. Choose with full presence. Choose with full conviction. Choose with your future in mind. One choice at a time. That's how you take control. That's how you lead your life forward.
Number 4. Push your limits daily until growth becomes natural. The moment you stop testing your limits is the moment you stop growing. If you want to be more tomorrow than you are today, then you have to do more than you did yesterday. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't arrive at your door uninvited. You have to chase it down. You have to push yourself into places where you feel uncomfortable and unsure. And you have to keep going even when the reward isn't instant. That's how you grow, by stretching beyond what's easy. Every person who's ever achieved something meaningful started by pushing themselves beyond what they thought they could do. They didn't wait for ideal conditions. They didn't hope someone would carry them forward. They made a decision to raise their standards and follow through. That's what you need to do. You need to raise your standards for effort, focus, and consistency. That's how you create lasting change, by doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done, even when it's not convenient. The key is to stop settling. Stop telling yourself you're doing enough. Start asking, what more can I do today that will make me stronger tomorrow? If you're not being challenged, you're not building anything. Comfort is not your friend. It keeps you still. It keeps you average. And if you spend too long being comfortable, you forget what you're capable of. You need to remind yourself that the only way forward is through resistance. Every time you push your limits, you gain something. Maybe it's clarity. Maybe it's strength. Maybe it's confidence. But you always get something in return for the effort. That's the reward of discipline. It gives you back more than it takes. When you stop avoiding the struggle, you start unlocking your potential. You become the kind of person who isn't afraid to fail because you know growth comes from doing hard things. Push your limits in the gym, in your work, in your learning, in your habits. Train your body, train your mind, train your focus. Don't just go through the motions. Be intentional with your energy. When you feel like quitting, go a little further. When your mind says that's enough, challenge it. Teach yourself that fatigue doesn't mean stop. It means grow. That edge you feel when things get tough, that's where the change lives. You want to build real confidence? It doesn't come from compliments. It comes from discipline, from doing things that scare you, from showing up when it's easier to check out, from staying with it even when the results are slow. Push through the moments that test you the most, because that's when your future is being shaped. Every second you hold the line is another step toward becoming stronger than you were yesterday. Don't underestimate what you're capable of. Your mind will always try to keep you safe. It will try to protect you from discomfort. But you have to override that instinct with purpose. You have to remind yourself that you're not here to stay the same. You're here to grow. And growth comes with pain. It comes with frustration. It comes with doubt. But you push through anyway because you know what's on the other side is worth it. You won't always feel motivated. That's not the goal. Motivation fades. Systems last. Habits last. Identity lasts. You need to become someone who shows up daily, not because it feels good, but because it's who you are. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your routines. If your routine doesn't include pushing your limits, your results won't either. Start by doing one more rep, one more minute, one more set, one more call, one more page, one more uncomfortable conversation. The power of one more changes everything. It tells your brain you're in control. It shows your future self that you're committed. It builds mental toughness like nothing else. And eventually what once felt impossible becomes routine. That's how you grow, by making the hard things your new normal. And don't measure your growth by what others are doing. This isn't a race against anyone else. It's about being better than you were last week. It's about doing what you said you'd do. It's about staying in alignment with the kind of person you want to be. When you push your limits daily, you stop needing to compare yourself. You know you're putting in the work. You know you're earning your progress. The resistance you feel is a signal you're doing something right. Growth doesn't come with comfort. It comes with the grind, the sweat, the questions, the effort. And every time you push through, you teach yourself that you're capable of more. That you don't have to accept the limits you used to believe in. That you can rewrite your story one hard day at a time. This process builds character. It builds trust in yourself. It builds a sense of identity that can't be taken from you. Because you know you earned it. You didn't wait for it. You didn't hope for it. You worked for it. And that kind of growth becomes who you are. It becomes automatic. It becomes the standard. And when that happens, you start to move through life differently, with more energy, with more purpose, with more presence. You stop looking for the easy way and start looking for the right way. You stop hesitating and start acting. You stop overthinking and start building. Because every part of you understands the cost of staying the same. You've felt the pain of wasting time. You've seen what happens when you play small. And now you're done with that. Now you're here to rise. And yes, some days will feel like a struggle. That's part of it. That's not a reason to quit. It's a reason to keep going. Every time you keep going, you make growth your natural state. You stop waiting for the right time to begin. You stop wishing things were easier. You just get to work. And the more you do that, the less you fear difficulty. It just becomes the way forward. When you live like this, people notice, not because you tell them, but because your actions speak for you. They see the way you hold yourself, the way you stay focused, the way you keep showing up, and it inspires them. It gives them permission to do the same. That's the ripple effect of personal growth. It doesn't stop with you. It spreads. It lifts others. It sets a new standard. You owe it to yourself to push further today than you did yesterday. Not because you're not good enough now, but because you're capable of more. That truth should excite you. You're not stuck. You're not limited. You're powerful. You just need to use that power. Step by step, rep by rep, day by day. Keep pushing. Keep rising. Keep proving to yourself that you will not settle. You will evolve. You will outgrow the version of you that used to feel stuck. You will turn discomfort into progress. You will turn hard work into daily habit. You will turn growth into who you are.
Number 5. Break your comfort daily and chase real self-respect. Comfort is the quiet enemy that convinces you to stay where you are, even when you know you were made for more. It whispers that you're doing fine, that you've done enough, that there's no need to reach higher today. But if you listen to that voice too long, you begin to lose your edge. You lose your fire. You trade the life you could build for the ease of one that asks nothing more of you. The truth is, the longer you stay comfortable, the further you drift from the person you could become. That's why you have to break that pattern every single day. There's something powerful that happens when you willingly step into the uncomfortable. You take your growth into your own hands. You stop waiting for life to push you. You stop depending on outside pressure. You start creating internal standards. And when you do that, something inside you changes. You begin to look yourself in the mirror and feel proud. You know you didn't take the easy way. You know you earned every bit of progress. That's where self-respect begins. Most people wait for confidence to come from success, but real self-respect doesn't come from trophies or applause. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. It comes from doing what's hard when nobody's watching. It comes from getting up early when your body says sleep, from pushing through distractions when your mind says quit, from showing up fully even when it would be easier to sit back. That's how you start building a foundation inside that can't be shaken. Every day that you stay in your comfort zone, you reinforce the idea that you're not ready to face more. But every day that you push against it, even in small ways, you teach yourself that you're capable of handling more than you thought. That's the kind of belief that carries into every area of your life. It's not just about winning one moment. It's about becoming someone who never needs to be convinced to try. Self-respect isn't something anyone can give you. It's something you earn by living in alignment with your highest values. And one of the highest values you can live by is refusing to settle, refusing to lie to yourself, refusing to let comfort be the ceiling of your potential. There's nothing admirable about playing small. There's nothing noble about hiding behind easy habits. What makes you grow is facing discomfort head-on and choosing discipline anyway. You don't need perfect motivation to do this. You just need to decide. You need to be honest about the areas of your life where you've let yourself coast. Are you giving your best effort at work? Are you taking care of your health, your focus, your relationships? Are you making the most of your time, or are you just passing the hours? When you ask these questions without excuses, you start to see where comfort has taken hold. And when you see it, the next step is simple. Do the opposite. If you always avoid the hard conversation, have it. If you usually wait until the last minute, start early. If you never challenge your body, push it. If your routine is predictable and easy, shake it up. The point is not to overwhelm yourself. The point is to prove to yourself that you are the one in control, not your habits, not your fears, not your past. The beautiful thing about this process is that it's personal. You don't need to compare your journey to anyone else's. Your version of discomfort is unique to you. What matters is that you are moving forward, that you are making intentional choices to stretch your limits, that you are not backing down just because the task looks unfamiliar or the path looks long. That commitment is where real growth lives. And here's the truth. When you start living this way, other people might not understand. They might ask why you're doing more than required, why you're pushing so hard, why you're choosing effort when ease is an option. But they're not supposed to understand. They're not building your life, you are. And the only approval that matters is the one you give yourself when you know deep down that you didn't shrink back when it counted. There is no shortcut to self-respect. You don't get it by talking about your goals. You don't get it by dreaming about success. You get it by showing up and doing the work, especially when you don't feel like it, especially when nobody's there to cheer you on, especially when the reward is far away. That's when it matters most. That's when you prove what kind of person you're becoming. People often chase admiration from others without realizing they haven't earned admiration from themselves. They try to impress the world, but feel empty inside because they know they're not being honest with their effort. You don't want that. You want to be the kind of person who can sit quietly with yourself at the end of the day and feel proud of how you showed up. That's where peace lives. That's where confidence grows. Every time you break comfort, even in small ways, you stack proof.
Proof that you're not lazy. Proof that you're not stuck. Proof that you're not afraid to chase more. You become your own witness. You become your own support system. You don't need someone else to tell you you're doing great, because you already know it. You've got the evidence. You've got the effort. You've got the integrity. And this kind of living, it changes your energy. You walk differently. You speak with clarity. You carry yourself with a calm strength that people notice, not because you're loud about it, but because you radiate consistency. That's the power of a life built on challenge instead of comfort. It gives you an identity that doesn't break under pressure, because you've already trained for the pressure. You've chosen it daily, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's boring, even when nobody says thank you. You still choose growth. You still break routine. You still chase the higher path. That's not easy, but it's worth it, because real self-respect doesn't come from what you have. It comes from who you choose to be, and you choose to be someone who rises. You're not here to live halfway. You're not here to avoid discomfort. You're here to rise every day a little higher than before. And the way you do that is by making discomfort your companion, by chasing challenge, by refusing to let the easy path become your default. Because the person you're becoming needs more than comfort. They need courage, they need focus, and they need action, every single day.
Number 6. Hold yourself accountable, even when no one is watching. There comes a time in your journey where you have to stop depending on external reminders and start building internal discipline. Holding yourself accountable means you stop making room for excuses. It means you stop explaining away your lack of progress. You stop telling stories about why you couldn't follow through, and you start demanding that your actions match your goals. This isn't about being perfect. This is about being responsible. This is about taking full ownership of your behavior when the spotlight is gone, when there's no praise waiting, and no hand clapping you on the back. The real test of character is what you do in silence. It's not about how you perform when people are watching. That's easy. That's natural. Most people rise to that. But what separates the average from the exceptional is what they do in the quiet hours, when the alarm rings and no one will know if you hit snooze, when it's time to stick to your plan, and no one would notice if you took the day off. That's when it counts the most, because that's where trust is built. Not with others, with yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, you reinforce your identity. You begin to believe that you are reliable. You begin to feel stronger on the inside. You begin to carry yourself differently, because you know you don't need external pressure to keep you on track. You've chosen to live by a higher standard, not one set by others, but one built by your own values. And when you hold yourself to that level consistently, you build something far more powerful than reputation. You build integrity. Integrity isn't about saying the right things. It's about doing the right things when they're inconvenient. It's about honoring your word when you're tired. It's about following through when it would be easier not to. It's not glamorous. No one cheers when you do it. But deep down it gives you a kind of strength that no one can take away from you. It's a strength that comes from knowing you've kept your commitments in the face of resistance. This isn't about being hard on yourself. This is about refusing to lie to yourself. It's about being brutally honest about where you're falling short and choosing to correct it, not cover it. Most people hide from that kind of honesty. They blame their schedule, their stress, their environment. But the ones who grow are the ones who look themselves in the eye and say, I could have done better today, and tomorrow I will. That's accountability. That's maturity. That's growth. You don't need someone to check on you every day. You don't need a boss hovering over you. You don't need a friend reminding you of your commitments. What you need is a mindset that refuses to accept average from yourself. You need a mindset that treats your personal standards like they matter, because they do. They shape your outcomes. They influence your self-image. They decide what kind of life you build over time. One of the strongest things you can do for your self-respect is to hold yourself to your word even when no one else knows about it. To get your workout done even when no one's there to see it. To turn off distractions even when no one's keeping score. To prepare, to plan,
to execute. Not because someone told you to, but because you decided to become someone who lives with purpose. That level of personal accountability is rare, but that's exactly why it matters. Every goal you've set depends on this one thing: your ability to govern yourself. If you can't do that, nothing else lasts. You can have the best ideas, the smartest plans, the clearest vision, but if you don't back it up with consistent action, it all fades. Progress is built on private choices. No one sees the grind behind the results, but it's always there. And if you want the results, you've got to respect the process, even when no one's looking. When you begin to take full responsibility for your actions, you take back your power. You stop blaming the system. You stop depending on motivation. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. Instead, you step up. You do the work. You track your habits. You admit your missteps. And more importantly, you learn from them. Because accountability isn't about guilt. It's about growth. It's not about beating yourself up. It's about refusing to pretend. You've got to become your own coach, your own mentor, your own standard bearer. That doesn't mean you never need help. It means you don't rely on help as a crutch. You learn to self-correct. You learn to observe yourself with honesty. You recognize when you're falling into patterns that don't serve you. And instead of denying it, you adjust. That adjustment builds self-control. It builds confidence. It builds momentum. Some people think accountability sounds harsh, but the truth is, it's one of the most caring things you can do for yourself. You care enough to tell yourself the truth. You care enough to push yourself forward. You care enough to stop giving yourself easy exits. That's not harsh. That's powerful. Because in that decision, you take ownership of your path. You stop reacting to life, and you start leading it. There's something deeply empowering about looking back on your day and knowing that you held the line, that you didn't cut corners, that you didn't compromise, that you stayed true to what you said mattered. Even if it wasn't perfect, even if it wasn't impressive, you followed through. And that's what changes your life. Not dramatic breakthroughs, but small decisions stacked with integrity. When you make accountability a daily habit, you no longer need constant reminders. You create a rhythm, a structure, a personal code that keeps you moving even when your feelings shift. And trust me, your feelings will shift. Motivation will dip, challenges will rise, people will disappoint you. But if your standards stay high, if your follow-through stays strong, none of those things can stop you. That's how you build discipline that lasts. That's how you create a mindset that doesn't quit. That's how you become someone who can be trusted, not just by others, but by yourself. You become someone who doesn't need pressure, who doesn't need external force, who doesn't need to be constantly reminded. You show up because you've decided your goals deserve it. You follow through because your word means something. Most importantly, you begin to believe in yourself on a deeper level. Not because someone told you you're great, but because you've proven it to yourself over and over again. In the quiet moments, in the difficult choices, in the boring parts. That's where real belief is built. That's where real progress begins. That's where character is forged. And it all starts the moment you stop waiting to be watched and start holding yourself accountable, relentlessly, honestly, consistently, daily.
Number 7. Face your laziness head on and destroy it daily. Laziness is not just about lying around doing nothing. It's deeper than that. It's a quiet habit that starts to creep in when we begin to negotiate with ourselves. It shows up when you tell yourself you'll start later. It whispers in your mind when you think one missed task won't matter. It feeds on comfort and grows in silence. And the more you allow it, the stronger it becomes. You must confront it directly, clearly, and without hesitation. Because the longer you let it live, the harder it becomes to remove. It doesn't go away on its own. You have to attack it. Every day you wake up, it's there, waiting. It doesn't take a day off. It doesn't get tired. It waits for you to hesitate. It waits for you to scroll one more time. It waits for you to choose ease over effort. You can't ignore it and hope to grow. You have to fight it with action. You beat laziness not by thinking about being better, but by acting the moment it tempts you. You move, You stand up. You do the thing you said you would do. Not later. Now, the second you feel resistance, that's your signal to go. There is nothing more dangerous than a comfortable excuse. I'm just tired today. It's not a big deal if I skip once. These thoughts don't seem serious at first, but they stack, they grow. One relaxed day becomes a pattern, and soon the gap between where you are and where you want to be gets wider. The only way to stop it is to interrupt the pattern. You must be stronger than the voice that says rest when you know what you really need is action. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You don't need to talk yourself into it. You don't need to believe in yourself in that moment. You just need to move. You need to start, because starting is the part laziness fears most. Once you begin, you break the spell. Once you step into effort, the excuses lose their grip. You realize it was never about energy, it was about decision. You don't destroy laziness with willpower alone. You destroy it by refusing to obey it. The first few minutes are always the hardest. That's where most people lose. But if you can get through that wall, the momentum is yours. The day becomes yours. And more than that, your mind becomes stronger. Every time you push past the temptation to delay, you gain power over yourself. You earn back control. You become the type of person who does what needs to be done regardless of how they feel in the moment. Laziness lives in softness. It thrives in indecision. It hides behind fake comfort. But comfort without progress is a trap. It might feel good for a while, but it leads to regret. It leaves you with a quiet dissatisfaction. A sense that you could be more if you just stopped giving in to the easy way. The only way to overcome that feeling is with daily effort. You show up, you give what you have, and you stop letting short-term feelings control your long-term direction. This is not about working yourself into exhaustion. This is about refusing to let laziness decide the course of your life. It's about becoming intentional, purposeful, clear. You know what needs to be done. You've already made the plans. Now the only thing standing in the way is that lazy voice that says maybe not today. You silence that voice with action. You prove to yourself again and again that you are stronger than your excuses. Laziness will always offer you a shortcut, but that shortcut is an illusion. It steals time from your goals. It slows down your progress. It drains your confidence. The truth is, nothing builds your self-belief like doing what you don't feel like doing. That's where confidence comes from. Not from comfort, but from following through. Even when it's boring. Even when it's inconvenient. Even when no one is watching. You don't destroy laziness with one decision. You destroy it every day. You face it in the early morning when your bed feels warm and your goals feel distant. You face it in the middle of the afternoon, when your energy dips and the distractions grow louder. You face it at night when you're tempted to abandon the plan you set in the morning. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you chip away at the lazy habits holding you back. It takes effort to wake up and go again. It takes courage to choose the harder path. But every time you do, you reinforce something deep inside you. You build grit. You build resilience. You build that unshakable belief that no matter how you feel, you will keep going. You'll keep moving forward. Because you've made that choice to be better. And laziness has no place in the life you're building. You must hold yourself to a higher standard. One where you no longer tolerate half effort. One where you expect yourself to show up. No matter what. Not because someone is forcing you, but because you've taken full responsibility for your life. You no longer wait for motivation. You don't need to feel inspired. You know that progress is earned, and you've committed to earn it. When you wake up, act. When you feel the hesitation, move. When the lazy thoughts creep in, answer them with discipline. The more you do this, the more you take away laziness's power. It becomes weaker. You become stronger. And day by day, the life you're chasing starts to take shape. You see the results. You feel the changes. Not just on the outside, but inside. Where real change happens. You'll never regret the work you do. But you will regret the time you waste giving in to laziness. That's the reality. That's the truth most people avoid. But you're not most people. You're choosing to rise. You're choosing to destroy what holds you back. Not with talk, but with action. With movement. With discipline. That's how you kill laziness. One decision at a time. Every single day.
no matter what. Number 8. Build unstoppable habits that match your highest self. There's a truth that many overlook when it comes to success. It's not about massive leaps or sudden breakthroughs. It's about consistent, small actions, repeated day after day. Success doesn't happen all at once. It's the result of the habits you form, the choices you make, and the discipline you apply to your daily routine. If you want to build a life that reflects your highest potential, you need to start building habits that align with that vision. Without the right habits, you can't expect to achieve greatness. Habits are the foundation of everything you do. They shape your thoughts, your behaviors, your outcomes. You are the sum of your habits. Think about it for a moment. What are the habits you currently have? Are they moving you toward your highest self, or are they pulling you in the opposite direction? The answer to that question is crucial, because your habits are the blueprint for your future. They define your path. If you want to go somewhere significant, you must begin with habits that push you there. But here's the catch. Habits are not formed overnight. They require patience. They require consistency. They require an unwavering commitment to building them, even when it feels hard. When you begin a new habit, it's not going to feel natural. You'll face resistance. Your mind will fight you. It will try to convince you that it's easier to do nothing or to do something familiar, even if it doesn't serve your best interests. But this is where you have to outsmart your own mind. You have to override the urges to take shortcuts and instead choose the path that leads to growth. Each time you choose the hard path, the right path, you create momentum. At first, it will be slow, but as you continue, it starts to build. The momentum from your actions becomes powerful. And before long, those habits that once felt like a struggle will become second nature. That's the power of repetition. Every time you make the right choice, you strengthen your resolve. You reinforce your commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. Building unstoppable habits requires focus. Focus on what you want to achieve, and then align your daily actions with that goal. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, build the habits of discipline and focus that will propel you forward every single day. If you want to improve your health, create habits that promote physical well-being, whether it's exercising every morning or eating nourishing food. Whatever your highest self looks like, you must create habits that match that vision. But let's be clear, there's no magic formula. It's not about willpower. It's about consistency and small, deliberate actions. It's about choosing to act, even when you don't feel like it. This is the key to building habits that last. You don't wait until you feel motivated. Motivation comes and goes. It's unreliable. You can't rely on it to carry you to your goals. Instead, you rely on discipline. Discipline is what gets you up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what forces you to put in the work, even when the results aren't immediate. Discipline builds the habits that align with your highest self. Start with small changes. Don't try to overhaul your life in a day. That's where people fail. They attempt to do everything at once, and the pressure overwhelms them. Instead, start by incorporating one habit at a time. Whether it's waking up an hour earlier, meditating for 5 minutes, or reading one chapter a day, choose one habit that aligns with your vision of your highest self and commit to it. Let it become part of your daily routine, and once it's solid, add another. Before long, you'll have a series of habits that will propel you toward success. It's also important to track your progress. Habits can be hard to measure, but you need a way to monitor how well you're doing. Keeping track of your daily actions helps you see how far you've come, and it also holds you accountable. If you skip a day or fail to do what you said you would do, don't beat yourself up. Instead, refocus and recommit. Every day is a new opportunity to get back on track. The key is to not let one missed day turn into an excuse to quit. Habits are about persistence. They're about showing up every day, regardless of setbacks or challenges. One of the most powerful things about building habits that align with your highest self is that they become part of who you are. They define you. The more you practice them, the more natural they become. You won't have to force yourself to get up early or exercise, or focus on your work. It will be ingrained in you. It will be who you are. And that's when you know you've truly built unstoppable habits. When the things that once required effort become automatic, That's when you know you've mastered yourself. As you build these habits, remember that progress isn't linear. There will be days when you feel like you're moving forward, and days when you feel like you're stuck. But this is part of the process. It's natural. What matters is that you keep going, even when it's tough. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Keep building the habits that will take you to the highest version of yourself. Understand that it won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it. The person you're becoming is the result of the habits you create today. You're building a future that's greater than anything you could have imagined. And the best part, it all starts with you and the small daily decisions you make. Every time you act in alignment with your highest self, you move closer to that version of you. So take responsibility for the habits you create. Take responsibility for your choices. No one else can do this for you. It's up to you to build a foundation that supports the life you want. And the best way to do that is by creating habits that are in line with your highest potential. Start now. Build these habits, day by day, and watch how your life transforms as a result.
Number 9. Prove your worth to yourself through daily action. You are the only person who can truly measure your worth. You can seek validation from others, but in the end, it's your own sense of self-respect and self-worth that matters the most. The world can tell you that you're doing great, but nothing feels as powerful as knowing, deep down inside, that you're giving your absolute best. The secret to proving your worth is not through external achievements or recognition. It's through the daily actions you take to improve yourself and your life. Every small step you take, every decision you make, is a way to show yourself that you are worthy of success, that you are worthy of happiness, and that you are worthy of the life you want. When you commit to daily action, you're telling yourself that you believe in your own potential. You're not waiting for the world to acknowledge your worth. You're not waiting for someone to give you a chance or to tell you that you're good enough. You're proving it to yourself every single day through your actions. This is the only way to build lasting self-worth. If you want to feel confident in who you are and what you can accomplish, you have to make it a habit to show up for yourself consistently. Think about your daily actions. Are they in alignment with the person you want to be? Are you moving forward, or are you letting procrastination, fear, or doubt hold you back? Every choice you make has the power to either build or destroy your sense of self-worth. When you choose to take action, even in the face of discomfort, you are proving to yourself that you're capable. You're proving that you have the strength, the courage, and the determination to move forward, regardless of the obstacles you face. That's the essence of real self-worth. The ability to keep pushing, keep striving, and keep growing, even when things aren't easy. This doesn't mean you have to take monumental actions every day. In fact, it's the small, consistent actions that create the most powerful results. It's waking up early, even when you don't feel like it, and doing the work anyway. It's showing up every day for the things that matter to you, even when you're tired, stressed, or uncertain. It's choosing to push through the challenges instead of taking the easy way out. Every day that you do this, you prove your worth to yourself. You're saying, I am worthy of success. I am worthy of growth. I am worthy of everything I'm working for. Proving your worth to yourself is not about external validation. It's about knowing, with every fiber of your being, that you are worthy of the best things life has to offer. It's about recognizing that you don't need anyone else to tell you that you're capable. You know it for yourself because you've demonstrated it day after day through your actions. And when you prove your worth to yourself in this way, the world starts to recognize it too. People will begin to take notice of your dedication, your discipline, and your commitment to your goals. But this recognition doesn't come first. It comes as a natural byproduct of your own daily commitment to showing up for yourself. There's a powerful shift that happens when you start to take full responsibility for your actions. No longer are you relying on others to tell you that you're doing well. No longer are you waiting for validation from external sources. Instead, you are your own measure of success. You are your own source of validation, and this is incredibly freeing, because it means you have complete control over your self-worth. When you prove to yourself that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of success, nothing can take that away from you. It becomes a solid foundation that no external circumstance can shake. The key to proving your worth through daily action is consistency. It's easy to start strong, to take action for a day or a week,
But the true test is whether you can keep going when the initial excitement fades. The people who succeed are the ones who keep going even when the results are not immediate. The people who keep pushing even when it's hard are the ones who build true self-worth. It's the people who make the choice to keep proving their worth day after day, no matter how small the actions might seem, who achieve lasting success. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes or miss a day. What it means is that you get back on track as soon as you can. You don't let one failure or setback stop you. You don't let one bad day define you. Every day is a new opportunity to prove your worth to yourself. Every day is a chance to start again and show yourself that you're worthy of the life you desire. Taking daily action to prove your worth also means being honest with yourself about your weaknesses and areas for improvement. It means being willing to confront your flaws and shortcomings without shame or guilt. Self-worth doesn't come from pretending to be perfect. It comes from embracing your imperfections and choosing to grow in spite of them. By taking daily action to improve yourself, you're not just proving your worth, you're becoming the best version of yourself. You're committing to personal growth and transformation, which is the true measure of worth. Proving your worth to yourself also requires a deep level of self-respect. You have to respect your own time, your own energy, and your own dreams. When you take daily action, you're telling yourself that your goals are worth the effort. You're telling yourself that your dreams matter. And this is crucial because when you respect yourself, others will respect you as well. But more importantly, when you respect yourself, you begin to see the incredible potential within you. You begin to realize that you have the power to shape your life in any way you choose. Every action you take, every step you make toward your goals, reinforces the belief that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that you are deserving of success. Proving your worth to yourself is not about seeking approval from others. It's about standing in your own power and knowing that you are enough just as you are. You are enough because of the actions you take, the decisions you make, and the way you consistently show up for yourself. It is through your own daily efforts that you demonstrate your value, and it is through these efforts that you ultimately prove your worth to yourself. So every time you take action, every time you push through the resistance, every time you make the choice to show up, you are reinforcing your worth. You are telling yourself, I am enough. I am worthy of success. I am worthy of the life I want to create. And when you can say that with confidence, when you can look at yourself in the mirror and know that you are doing the work, you will feel a deep sense of pride. You'll know that you are not just living life passively, waiting for things to happen. You are actively shaping your own destiny through the choices you make every single day. And in that, you prove your worth beyond measure.
Number 10. Win your morning to own your discipline all day. The way you start your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. If you start your day off in a rush, overwhelmed by distractions, and filled with procrastination, you're essentially giving away your power. You're letting your day control you, rather than taking control of your day. The first few hours after you wake up are crucial because they determine the level of discipline, energy, and focus you will carry with you throughout the rest of the day. When you win your morning, you win your day, and when you win your day, you have the power to shape your life. The concept is simple. If you conquer your morning, you build the discipline to carry that momentum into the rest of the day. The morning is like a blank canvas, waiting for you to decide what you want to paint on it. It's a time when your mind is fresh, your energy is at its peak, and you are in control. This is when you need to set the foundation for the discipline that will carry you through all your tasks, responsibilities, and challenges. By establishing good habits in the morning, you make it easier to stay disciplined, focused, and productive throughout the rest of the day. If you wake up with no plan, no direction, or no clear intentions, it's easy to slip into a pattern of mindless actions that lead to wasted time and lost opportunities. But when you choose to win your morning, you take deliberate action to ensure that you're setting yourself up for success. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out routine. What matters is that you take control of your morning and do something productive, something that aligns with your goals, values, and vision for your life. The first step in winning your morning is waking up early. The most successful people in the world all have one thing in common. They wake up early. It's not about being a morning person. It's about making the decision to give yourself a head start. When you wake up early,
You have the opportunity to set the tone for your entire day before the world around you starts pulling you in a million different directions. You gain a sense of control and focus before the noise of life begins. Early mornings are your time, and when you use that time wisely, you set yourself up for greatness. But waking up early isn't enough. You need to start your day with intention. The first moments after you wake up are the most important, because they're when your mind is most receptive to influence. If you start scrolling through your phone, checking emails, or getting caught up in social media, you're letting external forces dictate your mindset for the day. Instead, use the first few minutes of your morning to ground yourself. Take a few deep breaths, center your thoughts, and get clear about what you want to accomplish. When you do this, you put yourself in the driver's seat, and you start your day with purpose. The next step in winning your morning is establishing a productive morning routine. Your routine doesn't need to be overly complicated or lengthy, but it should include activities that help you build momentum and set the stage for a productive day. Start with something physical, whether it's stretching, exercise, or a brisk walk. Get your body moving so that you can shake off the remnants of sleep and energize yourself for the day ahead. When you move your body, you release endorphins, clear your mind, and get your blood pumping. This physical action is key in setting up the mental and emotional state you need for success. Next, focus on your mindset. Take a moment to visualize your goals for the day. Picture yourself successfully completing your tasks, staying focused, and achieving what you set out to do. Imagine how it will feel to hit your goals and make progress. By mentally preparing yourself, you strengthen your resolve and increase your chances of success. This is about more than just wishing for success. It's about believing that you are capable of achieving it and setting yourself up for victory. Another powerful habit you can incorporate into your morning routine is journaling. Writing down your thoughts, your goals, or your intentions for the day can help you clarify your vision and keep your mind focused. It can also serve as a powerful tool for reflection, allowing you to track your progress and identify any areas where you may need to improve. By making journaling a part of your morning routine, you create a habit of self-reflection that will keep you grounded and intentional throughout the day. Finally, make time for something that nourishes your mind or spirit, whether it's reading a few pages of a book, meditating, or listening to an inspiring podcast. Find something that fills you up and helps you approach your day with positivity and enthusiasm. When you take the time to invest in your mental and emotional well-being in the morning, you're setting yourself up for a more productive, focused, and disciplined day. Winning your morning is not just about creating a morning routine, it's about establishing a mindset and a set of habits that will carry you through the day with purpose and discipline. It's about making the decision to take control of your day right from the moment you wake up. When you win your morning, you create a solid foundation for the rest of your day. You create a sense of momentum that builds on itself, making it easier to stay focused, productive, and disciplined as you move through your day. The most important thing to remember is that discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to be trained. The more you practice discipline in the morning, the stronger it becomes. The more you commit to winning your morning, the more natural it will become to stay disciplined throughout the day. And when you consistently win your morning, you will notice a shift in your mindset. You will feel more confident in your ability to stay disciplined, more focused on your goals, and more capable of handling any challenges that come your way. Winning your morning gives you the power to control your day. It's about taking proactive steps to set yourself up for success, starting with the very first moments after you wake up. When you win your morning, you prove to yourself that you are in charge of your life. You take control of your discipline, your focus, and your actions, and you build the foundation for success. And as you continue to win your mornings, you'll begin to notice that discipline becomes second nature, and success becomes inevitable.